Good evening, Breakers, and welcome back for another episode of Talking Taboo. I am your host, Tristan, and with me I have my lovely co-hosts, starting with Mrs. Cornisha, Psyched Perspective, and Hasna Deanna. How are y'all feeling today?
Great. How's everybody tonight?
Yeah, I see y'all got y'all drinks ready. Okay.
Lord knows we gonna need them.
Because it's about to get there.
It's gonna get real.
And I thank you all for tuning in for another episode. Tonight, we're going to be talking about toxic relationships. Okay, so stay with us. But before we dive into our conversation piece for tonight, as usual, I would like to give you just a little snippet of last week's show. Stay tuned. What do you believe to be some of the causes of sibling rivalry in families?
Favoritism, and then you also see are you trying to make people jealous, or are you trying to what is it? Because it's like those are your kids. You should want them to work together and be successful together.
Now, just imagine if we all see, you got 4 siblings, and we all see that mama or daddy is behind the issues. If we all stand together, one person may address it and I may co-sign. Mama's gonna straighten up. You know why? Because mama's gonna know she ain't got nobody to enable her foolishness.
So for my mother, it happened to her, and it was always a competition with her siblings, or when they would get her around people, they would embarrass her, try to compare her to whether how intelligent she was or lack of whatever they felt, And then it was times where within my childhood, I remember my middle sister. It's always this middle child syndrome anyway. So it was my middle sister used to think that I didn't like her.
Siblings are supposed to feel. You're supposed to feel we're equally loved, we're equally treated. Because Trisha said, every child has their own personality. You can't, what this child needs, this one may need something differently. So you got to cater to each person as an individual. So there shouldn't be that, you love this one more and you do more. Right. So shouldn't even be that.
Scapegoat, usually blamed for the problems in the house, often seen as the problem child and black sheep of the family. Internalized shame and guilt, craves independence and distance from the family, constantly criticized, the whistleblower of the family.
Yeah, because I will air everything.
Ignored for speaking the truth of the dysfunction in the house.
Back in the day, my papa would do something that my granny didn't approve of, and then next thing you know, all communication was shut off from papa. We all just stopped talking about it. And I'm now looking back, I'm this is toxic. This is not how you do things, but we would all just stop talking to him.
I personally believe a lot of it has to do with the lack of love and attention within these families. Whenever there's a lack of love or attention, that in my mind creates more of a scarcity mindset, to where people are fighting to get whatever it is that may be there.
The division with my siblings, number one is age, because when my mom had my brother at 15 and me at 17.
And some people just have, it's a alliance with other family members. It's it's always something that somebody has over somebody's head. So it's if I know you're wrong, but if I choose you, then you might expose what you know about me.
Oh. All right, so that was just a little sneak peek of last week's episode on sibling rivalry. Remember that you can always watch the replay at our Facebook or YouTube channel. Just search us, Chainbreakers Talk Show, and it should come right up, okay? So, you guys, let's go ahead and get into our discussion piece for today on toxic relationships, okay? First question. What makes a relationship toxic, in your opinion? And I'm going to start with you, Nisha. What makes a relationship toxic to you?
I feel like the core of a toxic relationship probably would stem from the lack of communication and the lack of respect for each other. but there's always a root cause of those problems in a relationship.
Mhm.
And I think, Lord knows, I think most of all my relationships were toxic. But as I got older, I started realizing, what I was attracting, or what, the
Mhm.
stuff that I was getting into was just so normal for me, because I grew up in a toxic type family structure. So all that is so normal. So it didn't seem toxic to me.
Okay. What's your take on it, Sai?
Basically similar, same. I also would like to add, like, if a person has a lot of insecurities, whether it's you or them or both of you, but you're not like willing to work through those insecurities, that can potentially lead to a toxic relationship. Um, and I also think, again, like you said, lack of communication and comprehension. Like, y'all are not on the same pathway. A lot of times things haven't even been discussed. It's just an assumption, and it's just, yeah.
Okay. All right. What's your take, Hasna?
I agree with Nisha and Psych, and I also want to say it's just being unequally yoked.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you're just not on the same page with a person,
Mm-hmm.
or if they have narcissistic ways and stuff like that. So it depends on the person.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, to sum it all up, I agree with Nisha and Sight.
Okay. Yeah, and I'm going to go ahead and ride with what everybody's saying as well. Next question.
That's it.
You ain't gonna go in. You ain't gonna dive in.
I was waiting. I'm like, she about to go in right now.
Ready.
I may add a little something later. Just bear with me. Let my juices get flowing. Okay.
Sorry, y'all.
Why do you all think that people are attracted to toxic relationships?
Working with, like, I've been in therapy on and off.
Mm-hmm.
I would say since my son was probably about 1. He's 8 now, so I've been on and off. But the last year, I've been consistently gotta go every week or whatever. But talking to my therapist, they said, like, what you look for in a partner is basically whatever the environment was from your childhood. That's basically what your relationships are going to mirror. So whatever the qualities you saw in your mom, like, if your mom was, she neglected you, or whatever is how you were brought up, that's what you're just used to, and that's what's comfortable for you in a relationship.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Okay, Hasna, what do you think?
Can I go last?
Okay.
I just, it's just sad. Like, you be just hearing that, and then you just sit back like, dang, your parents must have been horrible, because these relationships, what is going on? It's just toxic. And it's just like, I'm examining that as I go through this healing stage. Like, yeah, you catch on to, the abandonment issues, the neglect, basically you always happen to people please or chase. And it's like, but now, when you're able to go through therapy and counseling, it's a privilege even to be able to just have the chance to go to therapy. But if you have it and you really take it serious and work through some of your issues and be accountable, you just start realizing, like, oh, I'm going after people that didn't even like me. But what is going on?
Oh goodness. That's good. That's very good. What I'm gonna say is, well, going back similar to what Nisha was saying, why I think people are attracted to toxic relationships is because first it does start with your environment, the relationships that you have with your parents, I believe. And I do believe that many people came from toxic environments. It is what it is. And that was pretty much our first blueprint. So if we had toxic relationships with our parents and we've only witnessed those type of relationships, then going forward, that's pretty much what we're attracted to subconsciously, I believe. And I think that there's always this subconscious need to attempt to get our parents love or what they did not give us. So I think because we're used to that, that those highs and lows, in our nervous system, et cetera, that we may not realize what we're doing, but we're constantly chasing that high of what we're used to, if that makes sense. So I think that's why we do it. I think a lot of it is subconsciously, like we may know that it's not good for us or healthy for us, but it's just something that we can't shake. And that's going to get into the next thing I'm going to be talking about, which is going to be trauma bonds.
Oh, one more thing, the chemicals in your brain, like it's just like you said, the high. So you got these chemicals that your body producing where,
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It's probably like a drug. You just chasing that.
That's good.
Yeah.
Well, I know for me, I think what kept me like in toxic situations was more so wanting to help the person heal. It wasn't like I was chasing the feeling of being toxic. You know what I mean? It was more so like, okay, I see you're hurting. How can I help you heal? So it kept me in situations longer than I should have been, because now things were getting bigger and worse than in the beginning. So I think for me, I was in situations like that because of just wanting to help, which sometimes helping can really stand in the way of where you belong
right
at a specific time. So that I feel like that's what that was for me.
Okay.
And then you can only help people who want to help themselves. Sometimes we're healing, so we're trying to push it on others, and it's just like people be like, I don't want that. Keep that over there.
Right.
Yeah. That's
or
true.
or sometimes I feel like too, it's just like when I know for me when I was growing up, like my aunt was a little mean, well, a lot of mean to me. And I was getting ready to try to downplay it, but I mean, let's be real. She was really like mean to me. And I always went through this thing of trying to please her.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay, if I didn't do this right, what else can I do right for you? Like, so I think that was another thing that took place in my relationships too. It was always trying to just like, okay, this didn't work. How can I make it better?
Yes. Yeah. That's really good. So next, y'all, I'm going to get into the definition of pretty much what trauma bond is. And there's this psychotherapist who was basically going to explain it in this short clip. But just off the top of your dome, before we get into it, when you think about the word trauma bond, like what comes to your mind? Have you really thought about it, or
bond by trauma?
I don't know. I don't know. I've been hearing that expression lately. But I wonder if it like you share similar experiences with people, so that's what keeps y'all.
Bond
by trauma. If somebody's healing and the other one's not, then it's like the bond has to break anyway. I don't know.
For me, it's like hot and cold. It's a mixture of like people like bonding over a similar issue, particular, or something that you relate to. But then it's also like positive and negative reinforcement. Like one moment it's like a Sour Patch Kid. They can be real loving and caring one minute, the next minute they about to, decapitate you and cut your heart out. Like you don't understand. But it's like a roller coaster. You going back and forth with them.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to go ahead and play this quick clip. It's less than a minute. So here we go.
When someone is traumatized by the hands of someone else, it's easy for us to assume that they would hate that person and not want to be around them and do everything they can to never see them again. But then, why do so many of us feel connected, often protective, and sometimes even fall in love with those who abused or harmed us? This very common response is what is known as a trauma bond. These bonds are emotional connections or attachments that we make to our abusers as a way to protect ourselves from further harm. In many ways, it's similar to Stockholm Syndrome, which, if you're not familiar, is an emotional bond that we make with our captors while we're in captivity. And I would honestly put both of these issues under what is already known as the PTSD diagnosis, since I think both are born out of trauma. But those are just my thoughts. What do you think?
Okay. So what did you all pretty much get from that? It was just a quick snippet.
I like that she would compare that trauma bonds and Stockholm syndrome are similar. I never put those two together like that. But what she said makes sense to me.
Okay. Next, I'm going to show this. This is pretty much what they call a trauma bonding, a simple explanation of it, pretty much. And a lot of what we talk about is pretty much, childhood trauma, things that you've endured. And this just pretty much shows how your upbringing influences those cycles in your life as an adult. Okay. So can you all see this okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So at first, a child experienced abuse, rejection, and pretty much lack of love growing up, or, hot, cold love. The child associates that love with abuse. The child learns to shut down their feelings. The child blames themselves when bad things happen. The child then internalizes that love, the child internalized, that love hurts or is hard. The child grows up and meets a partner who's abusive, emotionally, physically, or psychologically. The adults shut down their feeling, wants, and needs. Again, adults blame themselves for their partner's behavior. The adult strives to be good enough for their partner. And again, this is what a lot of us had to do in our homes too, please. Partner reinforces this attachment by altering between kind acts plus acts of rejection. So what Psych was saying, that hot, cold, and the adults then make excuses for their partners as it's subconsciously trying to feel good enough for their parents. So that ties into what Hasna was saying as well. Like when you have to basically please in these environments growing up in order to thinking that, okay, if I just behave or be good enough, then it'll stop them from harming me. So basically it's like you're trying to self-protect, and as you see that cycle pretty much repeats itself in your adult relationships as well. And a lot of us, I think we tend to like make excuses for our parents, etc., as far as if they abused us, etc., and we find ourselves doing the same thing in our adult relationships too. So
I really just realized that I was really trauma bond then. I was in a situation where I was all messed up.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
For real. It's like you don't think about it.
Like, damn. As we were reading, I'm like, ooh.
Yeah.
I was messed up.
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm healed now. I'm good. Because baby.
Oh yeah. And this just says trauma bonding feels like love, but it's a bond made by trauma, not by love.
But my thing is, if all you knew was trauma, you don't even know what love feels like anyways.
Right.
No.
So, I mean, you don't know what you're looking for in a relationship.
Right. And I agree. Because I used to look at this. Parents don't even, when you're abusing your children, you don't know what love is. A lot of our parents don't know what love is. You see what I'm saying? So if that's your motto, you don't know what love is. So I think we have a lot of people walking this earth, they don't know what love is. Because if people really know what love is, do you think like our world would be in the condition it's in? If we really had all these self-loving folk out here.
Now I want to say,
go ahead.
I felt love growing up.
Mm-hmm.
I know what love felt like.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the trauma overtook the love.
Mm-hmm.
I think it got the best of me because the trauma was so severe that it kind of pushed the love that I do remember or did feel right on out the way.
Mm-hmm.
As we're sitting here talking about that, like I just realized, I'm like, because I can't sit here and say that I don't know what love feel like. But even with knowing what love feel like, I don't know why I was still so attached to that trauma side.
Okay.
I know in my case, like growing up, like I have a son. So growing up, I was never told, oh, I love you, or got the hugs, the affection, and all that stuff. So me being a mom, I do that and tell my son every day I love him, hug him and stuff. But
Yeah.
sometimes my son is too huggy, too affectionate, and I'd be like,
Yeah.
because I'm not used, I'm trying to change. I'm trying to, give him what I didn't have, but it's still kind of foreign to me. So I'd be like, so it's like I be in between, but I don't want him growing up not knowing what having love and affection and support and compliments and all that stuff feels like.
Yeah.
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 I think that's a hard thing too, because um I was watching a Facebook, I believe, like a live or something, and it was a lady on there saying that how she wished she could have loved, like her son is he's deceased now, but she wished that she could have loved him more and showed him more love because she wasn't shown that. So it was times where, like you said, your son wants to hug you, and sometimes it's a little too much. Because she still at that moment she realized that she wasn't healed as much as she thought she was.
Yeah.
It was like to the point where when somebody is showing you love and you're rejecting the love,
Right.
you're clearly not as healed as you thought you were.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's crazy how even when you think that you're doing the work,
Yeah.
it's like you got to dig a little deeper because
Right.
it's still something that you're dealing with.
Yeah.
So it's like trauma can really, it can take a toll on you.
It's
It
deep.
can really take
Yeah.
a toll on you.
Yeah. Yeah. It's deep. Next question, you guys, and y'all can do what y'all want with this one, okay? Let's talk about a moment of maybe one of the worst relationships you may have ever found yourself in. Let's talk about that a little bit. Everybody covering their face. just share what you're comfortable talking about, but just
I'm gonna have to be in counseling tomorrow.
Okay, so for me, like as I told y'all, I got molested coming up. I kind of was in the streets early. I basically raised myself, so I didn't really get attached to people too much like that. So one guy that I met, he knew I was like out in the streets and I had to do stuff to get by, whatever. So it's basically like, okay, I wanna basically show you a new way of life. I want you to be self-sufficient, whatever. Like basically I'm gonna hold your hand so you can have a better life. So I'm like, okay, that's cool. Ain't nobody never did that for me. But dude, he had his own issues too. So I told him one day, I said, you like the best, but the worst dude I ever known, because his issues were like so like insecurity, like always accusing me of stuff and just jealous and just over like where I felt like me being a person just got smaller and smaller because I felt like, he would blow my phone up, he would be popping up, he would be like just crazy. I'm like, did I put it on YouTube? They're like, what's the problem here? You know what I'm saying? But and then I feel like men don't like to talk. So once I figured out, he got beat as a child at an early age. Like his mama beat him bloody, he ran away, and he was like in the streets early too. So I guess we could relate to that, being out kind of on your own at an early age. So I think, we had similar backgrounds about, but it's still like the fact of we don't know how to communicate well. We don't know how to handle the emotions and what to do when you get angry and what, so those issues turn into bigger issues where it's physical, where it got physical. And I was about to shoot this nigga one day. Like, I'm not about to be out here fighting nobody. Done. Especially not no man. I'll send you to your maker before I've had to fight with you. But it just like it just all boiled down to the same thing I said earlier, like just communicating. If you never learned it and all you knew coming up was, do as I say, or I'm gonna beat you, and I'm just gonna beat you, and I'm gonna beat you. That's all you know. So if all you knew was to get beat when you don't do right, then when you get in a relationship and you feel like they don't do right, then what are you going to go to? You're going to go to the equivalent of you need to be in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I feel like that is mine because I just feel like it's been good and in a sense of, somebody wanting like the best for you, but bad as far as, somebody dealing with trauma more even deeper than mine.
Yeah.
And as, it's worse, I would say, because like men aren't as open and verbal and, sometimes don't know how to handle the emotions that come with being in a relationship. So that's
okay. Psych, I'll let you go next.
That it's a lot. It's a lot.
Take your time.
Similarities is the lack of communication and not knowing how to communicate. Because, like you said, a lot of us grew up in households where your feelings were downplayed, so nobody cared anyway. So you just kind of learn to just not really express, and then you become, a grown up, and you're trying to talk to people, and neither one of you know how to communicate, and then like insecurities, people not being honest about their own ish, and and then you trying to put on this image. It's like you're not even really in the relationship. You're just trying to appear to be something so you can get by. So it's just,
Yeah.
So my situation was pretty much never again. I never want to go through that. I mean, the healing from that is so intense. It's like you got your parents, your childhood trauma, then you got relationship trauma. Like, this is too much PTSD.
Right. And what I think as well is when you have that like childhood trauma and then you're reenacting it over and over with all of these relationships that's leaving you more, broken. Like that can really do a number. You see what I'm saying? Because it's like additional trauma on top of the trauma that's already there. So yeah, it can really leave you drained. Now listen, y'all, my story may seem a little boring because because like I think I told y'all last show that I wasn't really man crazy per se. That was just never really me. However, I do recall like in my maybe like 18, 19, that I met this guy, and at first I wasn't into him, but he just kept bothering me. Like every time I would go somewhere, like he I don't know if he was stalking me or following me, but it's like he was there. You see what I'm saying? So after a while, it started to get a little cute to me. You see what I'm saying? So I was getting to know him a little bit, and I knew he wasn't for me. Going back to that, we were talking about last week that I be knowing. I knew he wasn't for me. My mama knew he wasn't for me. She was like, look like he hustled. Leave that boy alone. Blah, 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 blah. Like one thing I can say about parents though, they got their issues. They be knowing. Right.
They know for us, but they don't know for themselves.
That's good. That's good. So that's one thing I can say. So after a while, like getting to know him a bit, again, Hasna, I can relate to you on this. I started to feel sorry for him because his mom was on drugs. And it's just like one of those, oh, poor little him, one of those type situations. And right. And it's like you wanted to help people, the codependency. You want to help people and things of that nature. So what turned into, oh God, I'm not even interested in him. It turned into now me having some kind of feelings for him. You see what I'm saying? But what ended up happening in that situation, because he was emotionally unavailable. However, what ended up happening, I met this what I would consider the good guy around that time as well. It was a situation where his mama wanted me to meet him. Oh, yeah, make a nice girl for my, son, blah, 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 blah. But when I did meet him, and he was very in tune, like every time he was off, like he would want to take me out. Like he was interested, highly interested. And my mom could tell that too. But what happened, because I didn't know pretty much my worth, I was like in my teens. I didn't know my worth or what I really deserved. I noticed that I was shutting him down because I was focused on the emotionally unavailable guy. So what ended up happening in that situation was I ended up saying some things to the kind guy that I should not have said. But since then I have, we have talked about it, because we ended up like running into each other one time and he asked me about it. So it must have still been on his heart to that day. So I was able to explain to him, listen, it had nothing to do with you. It was me, etc. And pretty much, that was that. And of course, with the other situation, nothing never comes out of that. So nothing pretty much came out of that. I just had to realize that you got to walk away from this and just let that be. It's nothing there. So that was pretty much that situation. But yeah, that's my little story.
Before you get started, I've done that too. Like, kind of brush the nice guy aside. But
Right.
I feel like, why? Like,
there's some information. I don't know if I have it pulled up on this one, but there's a lot of stuff I came across. We may get to it on why you don't want the nice guy. I don't know. I may can pull it up. It's on my computer somewhere. Go ahead, Isai. What did you say?
It come off boring, like the person that
I have it on my phone
because you're so used to, we used to the chase and being treated like shit, and then you got somebody that's like checking in, then you start talking about, oh, they're a bugaboo. But then it's like, is it that, or is it just you're used to having to be the bugaboo chasing after somebody? Like
that's good.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. But I know, I don't know, for me, my longest and worst relationship was my ex-husband. Mm-hmm. That was like a disaster. I can't even tell you. It went from things being like so amazing. And I mean, I'll never forget one time, and I probably told this story over and over, but it's the one thing that stick out to me. One day it was like a blizzard in New Jersey, and it was snowing so bad. And I had went out with some friends and came. When I left, it wasn't snowing. When I came back, it was like outrageous. And he ran outside and picked me up from the car, like wouldn't even let my feet touch the snow. And he was like, no, you're too good for your feet to touch the snow. Yeah, your cousin had some lines, Trista. But so he like, oh, you're too good for your feet to even touch the snow. And that man picked me up and carried me in the house, and he didn't let me down until I hit the carpet, So I was like, damn, I was just all into it. Well, baby, it went from not wanting to touch the snow to not giving a damn. And it was just like, I can't even tell you. I remember being in a good place with him, and then one day he hit me. And when he hit me, I was just like in shock. So being I think for me, growing up, being in a household with my aunt, going up and down and trying to please her, and all the apologies that came with the up and downs, it was like when he first put his hands on me, I didn't think about leaving. I just thought about, like, is he sorry? Did he mean this? Did he do this on purpose? So it was like one hit became 2 and 3. Now we fighting. Then the disrespect is coming really heavy. I mean, from cheating to bringing plates from other females in the house. Like, it was all kind of stuff that I had dealt with. And for a very long time, I just couldn't understand why I was dealing with that, because I always knew I'm the type of person where I know what I want and what I don't want. But for some reason, I was just like, I felt stuck. And I think it was more, I believe it was more so of the sad stories that he told, oh, my mom was abusive. Oh, my dad walked out. Please don't walk out on me. I need you. If you walk out on me, I'm going to die. I'm going to commit, all that kind of stuff. So it kept me for a very long time, 12 years. It kept me. And after a while, I just knew. I knew that I deserved better. I knew I wanted better. I knew that enough was enough. And I knew that I was ready to heal. And one thing that he wasn't ready to do was heal. He'd rather hold on to the past than to go get help or go to counseling or talk about it or really address the things that took place within his life. So I knew that him and I wouldn't get past what we were going through because of the fact that I was ready to go to the next level and he was still stagnant.
Yeah.
So it was, I will say that, like, going through childhood trauma and stuff like that and not really dealing with it head on caused me to be in a very bad situation that could have almost took my life.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-mm. Whew. So looking back at it now, being in a better place now, what was it that attracted you to the relationship? Hassan, I know you hit on yours a little bit, but you can elaborate some more if you want.
Yeah, it was the charm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right in the beginning, it's the things that you weren't told. The I love yous on a regular, the warm cuddles, the knowing what you want to eat, knowing how you want to dress. Like, it was the charm in the beginning. So you get so caught up in that when things take a left turn, you really don't know how to deal with that. It's like, where the hell did this come from? Because you're just so used to this person being one way. So when they switch up on you, you don't know how to deal with it. And people always say, well, if it was me, or if they always want to tell you how they would deal with a situation when they're not even in the situation, until the day comes and you're in it. And then it's like, damn, how did I get here? Mm-hmm. How did I get here? And then you really have to start digging deep, because once you start going back, you will realize how you got where you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
You'll realize it. So that's what happened with me. Like, I really just started like doing the work. I mean, I went all the way back to my childhood of the things that was hurting me, of the things and the people that hurt me. And I just start like taking them on by the head and going from there.
Yeah. Well, I think that happened with me too. Like, going through the toxic type relationship, but also going through my journey with the therapy and trying to heal at the same time. Then I'd have to backtrack. Like, I've had plenty of conversations with my mom, about, my childhood stuff. I didn't ever address stuff I carried for. When did I address my mom? A year ago?
I think that's what you told me. Yeah.
Last year? Yeah. So
it's like you carry that stuff all that time.
And just, so that affected me as a person where, I want to express my feelings to people. I just kind of just hold all type of stuff in till I get tired. I just got tired. I'm tired of just feeling weighed down and depressed, and I don't even know how I feel. So I just had to start going back and having those conversations. And even the relationship, I went back to him and start expressing, this is stuff that I feel like on my part I didn't say, you know what I'm saying? Because it's not always the other person. It's sometimes I don't know how to express myself, or I don't communicate, or whatever the case is, how I played a role in certain stuff.
Yeah. What would you say, Psych, was your attraction to that particular relationship that you were speaking of?
Yeah, similar to everybody. Yeah. My background with my mom, and my non-existent father. It's just like, if my mom was in and out, granted, I get her reasoning now and I'm able to understand, but a lot of that kind of set me up to be thinking I always had to be chasing after somebody. And then again, what got me in, I felt like I was lured in, with the Scooby snacks. I was just, but they're super nice and caring. Like I said, Sour Patch Kid, super nice and caring. They just come on in. You over here taking pictures, y'all thinking everything's smooth. Next thing you know, you with a demon. It's bad.
Mm-hmm.
Got Chucky, the good old. What was Chucky in that movie? The good boy, the good something.
I don't know.
Listen, all I remember is Chucky. I don't remember no good.
Well, he was a good doll at first before he went.
Yeah.
But see, he did so much stuff. Nobody remember that part.
Yeah. And I would say, like, for the situation that I mentioned to you all, like initially there wasn't any attraction. Again, I think a lot of my stuff was basically that subconscious, but now I see that I was also acting out my family role because I was more caregiver, feeling sorry for people, wanting to fix, rescue, help, codependent. You see what I'm saying? And of course, I didn't see it back then, but I see it now that that's what it was. And also with the emotional unavailability. Again, my father wasn't there and I had my mom present, but she was still unavailable emotionally. So it's like I see all of that repeating. So basically, like Nisha was saying, the cycles that you pull from the relationship connection and dynamics that you have from your parents. So I clearly see it now, clearly.
And it's real when, like, I used to always say, I knew he could, I think it was that protection thing too, because he would protect me from everybody else. But I'm like, damn, now who's protecting me from you?
Oh, that's
because like when it came to it, like disrespect from the streets or other people, he didn't tolerate it. He did not play. He was ready to step to whoever. But when it came to me, it was like, now who can I go to? Because if you look at him, even to this day, when people find out that I was in a domestic violence situation, they like, what? No, we don't believe that. And I'm like, oh, baby. Yeah.
Honey,
like,
they know how to put on a show for everybody else.
Like I'm telling you, like one day one way, but behind closed doors, like when shit hit the fan, shit hit the fan. You understand? So it was, but that's how my life was growing up too. Like with my aunt, and it's crazy because according to family members, I'm her favorite. But growing up, I couldn't tell that I was her favorite because she mistreated me. So, you know, when growing up like that, and then you get in these relationships and it's like, oh, I love you so much and you just the one. And it's like, damn, but this is how you treat the one.
Right.
You know, so.
Yeah. Now, this is a question I want to ask as well. Okay. Looking at who you were at that time. Okay. What core belief do you think you had about yourself at that time?
I know with me, I felt like trying to prove myself to somebody, trying to prove, oh, I'm good enough, I'm this, I'm that. You know what I'm saying? But where I'm at now, I know who I am. You can take it or leave it. You know, I don't have to prove to nobody because I am the woman I am. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have that mentality, or that's not how I carried myself at that point.
Yeah. I would say for myself that there was a core belief of it was more like I'm not worthy of good things. I think that was my core belief at that time, looking back at it. I'm not worthy of good things. And one thing I remember the good guy told me per our last conversation, when I, said some things to him, he told me, never limit your options. And that thing stayed with me forever. And it really showed me that, there were good people out there, because he was a truly good guy. And even despite of what I said to him that was hurtful, he still, in a sense, said something positive to me. But I'm eating my words. Like I feel it. Like it was what it was. But I looked at it like both of those situations helped me to be, who I am today. So I'm glad that he said that, because I never heard that before, So when he said those words to me, it came across like, you deserve so much more. You see what I'm saying? Like, you're limiting your options. Like, this is all that it is, but there's so much more. Like, you deserve so much more. So I think that was my internal message. Yeah.
I think for me, I felt like I wasn't enough. I think it was always that feeling of not being enough. And but baby, I'm dangerous now.
Yeah.
I'm dangerous now. It was like, and I mean dangerous in a good way. Because going through those things, like as bad as they may seem, I thank him for it at the same time. Because going through that allowed me to find out who I really am. And what I mean by that is it was a lot of trauma that took place, and I experienced so many different things. The hardest thing to do is to walk away from something that you feel like you can't live without.
Yeah.
Even if it's messy, whatever it may be. So the fact that I was able to, I remember a time where someone asked me, why are you holding on to him? What is wrong with you? And I was like, I don't know. I just feel like, I need him there. Like we need each other. But the moment that I realized that I would be okay with letting go.
Yeah.
That was it. It was over for me, because once I was able to bounce back from that, at this point, I know my worth. I know, I know who I am. And I stand firm on that. And listen, excuse my language, but I'm fucking dope.
Yeah.
Okay. I am dope. And I am so grateful that I went through it all, because the way I just stand on my own 2 feet, and the way that I'm just real. I'm real with myself. I'm real with others. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. It's like, if you want to heal, if you want to work, let's do this, because it requires work, and healing requires realness. You cannot heal without being real with yourself first. So the fact that I was able to stand up every day and look myself in the mirror, and if I wasn't okay today, I would say, I'm not okay today, but I'm going to be all right. And the days went by, and I realized that as the days went by, I became stronger and stronger. And as the months went by, then I became unstoppable. And then as the years went by, I'm just nothing to fuck with. So now it's just like, I am grateful for it all. And now I'm able to be who I need to be to everybody that's connected to me. Because I was meant to go through that.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people like, oh no, I don't believe that. No, I was strong enough to go through what I went through, even though I didn't think that I was, but I was strong enough to go through it, because I'm able to teach my daughters, and I'm able to teach those who are connected to me. I can be, whether it's the role model or the counselor or whatever I need to be in somebody else's life. That situation wasn't just for me. There's so many other people that's going through it out there, but they don't have anybody to speak with about it, because people will judge you.
Right. People are ashamed of what they're going through.
Exactly. So I'm grateful for it all.
Yeah. Yeah. What about you, Syke? What do you think your message was at that time? A core belief that you had?
Needed to learn myself. Oh, I needed to basically learn my self-worth, and then break the cycle of like people pleasing and toxic codependency. And like that's pretty much been what I've had to work through therapy and counseling. And like Hassana said, it's work. I mean, it is hard work. It's ongoing. I'll be thinking that it'll be linear, but it's not. Sometimes you have setbacks, sometimes you are stuck, but you have to be willing to learn and push yourself through, and then also be willing to check your own behaviors, because sometimes you are putting yourself in these situations sometimes, So it was about self-worth.
Right. Or sometimes you could be the toxic one,
That's good.
Nobody ever say, well,
that's true.
I was hell on heels now.
Yeah. That's so true.
No, that's another thing. Oh, I know I was hell on heels. Well, no, the dude too. But y'all, I popped up at this dude I was talking to. He was a little dog, but I popped up at his house one night playing Inspector Gadget. My tail went straight to jail that night. Straight to jail. Do not collect $200. I've been on my toxic stuff too.
And you know what I think though? Because I personally believe that toxic, for the most part, toxic, I think attract toxic. I do. I think it takes two people to have an unhealthy relationship. I don't believe a person who's truly, on the fairly healthy side is going to be attracted to a toxic relationship. I believe there's something within you that got to resonate with that thing. You see what I'm saying?
I think so.
So it's like, I'm glad that you said that about it takes two, because I do believe that now there could be one that's more overt or aggressive, so to speak, but it takes two to rattle that chain. I think I really do. I really do.
Because sometimes you're toxic and you don't even know you're toxic.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I know at some point in time my attitude was so shitty it made no sense. And I know that about myself. It was like you couldn't say anything to me because I always felt like I had to defend myself. So you can say something kind and I'm ready to come at your neck because I think you're trying to play with me. Right. You know what I mean? So after a while, once I heal, like I'm a little better.
He said energies gravitate towards the same energy, positive or negative. That's true.
Now I'm
ready to talk to him tonight.
Oh yeah, love JJ 1814. You calling in tonight?
You know he not. You know he ain't calling us.
All right, I'm gonna go with some of these memes that I pulled. This one says, "You love him really? He lies to you, cheats on you, gaslights you, abuses you, controls you, calls you names, make you feel worthless, is gone all night, and even gave you an STD. I've got news for you. That's not love. It's a trauma bond."
That's real though. That's real stuff right there.
And that's how it be in the field. People just be.
Yeah. Okay, now this one pretty much talks about more of a trauma bond versus, more healthy, authentic bond. In trauma bonds, you tend to want to fix, save, rescue, and you want people to validate your existence. It's usually chaotic and unpredictable, roller coaster of emotions, them ups and downs. My relationship typically mirrors the patterns of my childhood experiences. I betray myself at all, in all of my needs to receive love. And hold up, there's one at the bottom that I can't see. Well, can I move this?
I think that's it.
I think it's one more down there, but it's all good. We'll move to the other side. Authentic bonds, you learn, see, and hold space for, each other, safe, consistent, and insightful. My relationship is based on freedom, accountability, and mental peace. I do the work to meet my own needs first. You enhance who I am. And I think the one on the other side said that, it says something along the lines that I need you in order to be, or something like that. It's like you're dependent on the other person in order to be. Let's move on to this. Okay. This is from a young lady. She's very good. So follow her on IG, Loving Me After We. She's a psychotherapist. We nurse trauma bonds, calling it loyalty when we are instead abandoning our own needs around safety and security in hopes of finding home when home might not have been a safe place to be. Are you enduring unsafe behavior in order to avoid the abandonment that comes with the breakup? It's what you know, so you're well aware of how to navigate the issues. But that also means living in the middle of a perpetual trauma response, otherwise known as survival mode. And that's true because you're not at peace in these relationships. It's like you basically acting like you're crazy. Yeah.
Well, you know it's bad. You know it's bad when you start counting how many good days you had in the relationship. So when you're there, you're like, oh, we going on 4 days, no arguments. It's like, hold up.
Honey, I was going like, dang. We had a week without
bad. You know it's bad when you're on a vacation.
I was one of those people who used to count the days. We went a whole week. We made it.
Oh goodness.
That's what I be talking about right there. They be like, oh yeah, these couples stay together. Well, your grandma couldn't go nowhere because she had to depend on him.
Yeah, like nowadays we have a choice. Our grandmothers had to stick it out because they didn't have the financial resources that would allow them to dip out. You may see this as loyalty, but I wonder about the inner little girl. Now, keep in mind, her audience is pretty much women. I wonder about the inner little girl who wants to finally feel safe. Are you loyal to her needs? I want to move on also to this as well. This talks about attachment styles. And I believe that this is pretty much the core of everything. You know, when we don't have that secure attachment style, or the attachment style that we have at you know, pretty much from our parents in our younger years, it's pretty much, I think, sets us up in the terms of the type of relationships we're going to have. Of course, the ideal relationship, or excuse me, attachment style is secure. You know, that means that, you know, basically your needs were met as a child. And it says, as far as your relationships, you enjoy relationships and closeness, but also appreciate your alone time and being separate. You do not feel you do not feel an overwhelming fear of abandonment, nor fear of compromise or being over controlled or suffocated. If you have an anxious attachment style in relationships, you typically desire relationships and tend to give a lot and settle for a lot. You settle a lot to make a relationship work. When they feel threatened, they try to control the situation. So if you're an avoidant attachment, typically suspicious of relationships and intimacy in general, tends to put distance between themselves and a partner. When they feel threatened, they typically withdraw from the situation. If you have a disorganized attachment style, experiences both, it looks so small on my side. Hold on. Experiences
both
a desire
for and a fear of relationships and intimacy simultaneously. I can't see the rest.
We in church with it today.
Girl, where's my glasses at?
Oh my God. Okay.
And I feel like I keep scooting up on the screen.
Right. I bet these people are like, what's wrong with these folks right now?
I don't know how to change it. Hold on, y'all. See, if I hide it, it's going to shift us. Hold on.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, I don't know. Zoom in. Okay.
Did it.
So under duress, they may demonstrate mixed signals. Somebody who's disorganized appear to become disassociated, or they might also become emotionally flooded and act out unpredictably. So according to these, what attachment style, and we're thinking about, because as of right now, you know, we're trying to work, and of course, secure attachment style is always the goal. What attachment style do you think that you gravitate towards more? And you can have a mixture, but what do you think was your main attachment style? I think I'm going to lean towards more avoidant. I think I was more of avoidant.
I think avoidant and disorganized.
Mm-hmm.
Same. Avoidant and then disorganized.
I don't know. I feel like
Is it weird to try to keep people away, but you want the love, but you
yeah, because I'm like, I'm kind of like that. Like I love love. Like I love, but
it's
sometimes
healthy.
I just need that space. It's like, let me breathe.
So but that would come with the secure type attachment style, where y'all have y'all space, but y'all still have that bond.
Yeah.
Closeness.
So maybe that would more so describe me. But that, I know as women, sometimes I feel, I ain't gonna even lie, sometimes I feel bad for men dealing with women, because we are so fickle at times. Like, it's like 1 minute we want so much of something, and then it's like the next minute it's like, and then it's like, wait, you're going too far, come back. Like a
yo-yo.
Yeah, it's like
Yes, I mean, singlehood is the best hood for me at the moment.
I agree.
Trying to figure out where people are, like, you trying to decipher a code, and it's just like, okay.
But that the greatest part of like meeting somebody that understands who you are, because they understand who they are,
Mm-hmm.
So it's like not trying to change you, just willing to accept you for whatever flaws you have. They are like the best relationships, and you really don't find those too often. So,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I'm grateful for the situation that I'm in now, like my marriage now, because we started off as best friends, like we grew up together. And like I said before, if you would have told me that I was going to be with this man like years later, I wouldn't have believed that. So
Right.
it's like now I'm really like with my homeboy,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, oh my God, life with us is it's funny because we talk about any and everything, we laugh about stuff, and when I get in my little, I don't want to be bothered. He like, girl, ain't nobody thinking about you. Get it together, you'll be all right. Like, so it's like he speaks my language. You get what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? He understands, those roller coasters that I'm on,
Yeah. That's
and
good.
I appreciate that.
Honey, I'm glad you said the languages, because that is another issue. We don't learn other people's love languages. So we can be very much so like, me, I like to do like a acts of services type because I like to do stuff for people.
Mm-hmm.
But they might, they might want to be complimented, like, oh, you look handsome today, or you smell good, or you did. I don't be saying all that. I'm an action type person. So what the love I'm giving, they might not be receiving what I'm giving, because that's not what that's not what they're receptive to. So that could even put tension in a relationship because y'all not even speaking the same language here.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you guys, before we go to the phone lines, I want to ask this. What is your ideal relationship? Go ahead, Syke. I'm going to let you go first. What is your ideal relationship? What will be your ideal relationship?
I feel like I'm more like I'm an open relationship or a non-monogamous relationship where like I would have a main partner, but we're free to do other things, but we communicate that, and you still take precautions, but then like, and then communication, like just be honest. Like, what is the point of playing all these games? Just keep it real.
Right.
That's what I
want. Okay. What about you, Nisha?
Well, I'm surprised you said that.
Yeah.
Like I literally think I think a poly relationship would be good. Because I feel like I would be wanting me a home girl that's gonna be there with me, and we all could chip in and take off the load. But if that didn't work, I'm with you. I would rather have that communication, because I feel like people get in relationships and they expect this person to be there, everything, but nobody's perfect. So ain't nobody gonna meet everything on your list of what you want. So I feel like instead of you going out here trying to find it somewhere else, or you feel like I lack in this area, so you need it somewhere else. Well, you may lack in this area. I may need it from somewhere else. So why we can't have that agreement that, maybe financially and all that, you got all this stuff, you good. You got 85% of what I need here, but maybe this person here, we have fun, it's something there that's lacking here. Like I would be cool with that, but people don't be ready for that type of communication, that openness or whatever. So I'm with you. Like, let's just be real here. So nobody is sneaking and there's no lying. There's none of that. Let's just be real about what our wants and needs here.
That's good. For myself, you know what? I see myself with, I don't like those alpha males. That's a turn off for me. I don't do alpha males. I don't like the controlling. I'm the head of the household. I don't roll like that. I need me a feminist type man, a man who's about equality. That's going to work for me, because I am a type of woman who I like to march to the beat of my own drum. I'm passionate about the things that I do, so to speak. I see myself, being an entrepreneur, again, once I finish school. So I'm going to be reaching for my highest self in all areas. That's just who I am. And a man who's insecure, he's not going to be able to handle that. So I need a man who's secure and he's okay, and he wants to see his woman win. You see what I'm saying? I like more of the Sigma type guys, not so much beta, alpha, like all of that. I like so much of the Sigma type guys, the guys who are a little different, a little quirky, they're kind of okay with being who they are, and they're fine with that. I don't want to say like rebels, but like in their own right, so to speak. You see what I'm saying? Like they're okay with doing things different than the normal societal standards. Like I love that. Oh, I see myself with the guy. Like I see myself with a guy who.
I know she was excited.
Intelligent. I love the mind. Like I don't care how you look. I don't care about looks. I'm attracted to mental and emotional, like that inner world. That's what I'm attracted to. I don't care. You can look like a frog. I don't care about that. That inside is that's gonna keep me. I'm telling you, that's what I need. I need somebody who's emotionally intelligent because I need somebody who can really hold space for me. I'm a highly sensitive person, so I feel, and I need someone who's okay with, communicating with talking, things out, and they're not going to run from that. You see what I'm saying? I want a man who's ambitious. He doesn't have to make $1 million, but I want him to like what he does. You see what I'm saying? To have something he's passionate about. A man who's purpose driven is where I'm getting with it. Somebody who values family.
I'm sorry, these comments about the Kermit and the frogs.
What are they doing? Oh, so somebody who, oh my God, y'all, I can go on for days, but overall, just a good, genuine-hearted man, somebody who's okay with himself, who's working on himself as well, working through his traumas, his issues. Oh God. Okay, I'm gonna just pause right there, but y'all get the drift,
Girl, I feel it.
Yeah.
We about to hook Trista up.
Honey, all we gotta do, we gotta find us a little frog she can kiss and go turn into a bird.
But somebody who's just passionate about life, and also this, I don't want.
Tell us more, girl. Tell us more.
He can have money. You see what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I want somebody who doesn't need that money to make them. You see what I'm saying? Like, you got it. Let's travel. You know what I mean? Somebody who's interested in travel, because I'm going to be traveling to the day I die. That's just how I am. You know what I mean? I'm never going to sit still in a sense and just retire and die. I don't think that's ever going to be my life. So somebody who's open to, traveling and just, being that free spirit. I don't want to just, oh baby, we just working, coming home, and that's it. No, I want somebody who want to live. You feel me? So anyway. All right, y'all. Enough of that.
I don't even want to go after that. I mean,
so go ahead, because I know you're married, so you can talk more about just where you want to,
Well, I'll go. I won't play it safe. Safe is because I'm married. I'm just going to talk about that. No, because I am so a person where I just love people. Mm-hmm. So for me, look at Nisha, the setup.
Look.
So for me, I have been in some situations where people be like, "What?" So I just love people. So I don't care whoever my heart and soul is attracted to. That's who I go for. Mm-hmm. I love for hearts, not parts. So that's me. But and my husband knows that about me. I have been in a polygyny situation before, where I had, a husband, he had multiple wives, and I loved it. I worked well with it. The other wives became like close friends of mine, or whatever the case may be. I enjoyed my alone time, so that worked for me. I enjoyed having my body having a break at times. So when he was away, it was just me. You know what I mean? My husband now, he's open to that if I'm open to it, but I don't force that on him, because he's already like, listen, dealing with you is enough. Like, so deal with multiple personalities and stuff like that. It's like, that's enough for me. But I'm an open person. So I'm more so like, I have the mindset of, yes, this is my husband, but you are just a loner to me. I don't own you. So if there's somebody else out there that you find, that can be beneficial to our family, then I'm open to that. But it's things that has to take place. It's just like, no, it's because it's not all about sex at the end of the day. So a lot of people get in these relationships and they think that it's just about sex. That's the immaturity in a person. It goes past the bedroom or wherever you choose to do it at. So it's like, when you really think about it, you have to be mentally prepared. And a lot of people are not mentally prepared for something like that. You can say that you're ready, but to be in it, I've lived it. I've been there. And it's times with women, we're jealous beings anyway. So it's really like, you have to know who you are. You have to know that the ultimate goal is us being a family, us taking care of the children together, whatever the case may be. Whatever work, it doesn't work for everybody, but whatever works for you, works for you. So yeah, with me, I'm just, again, like, I love for hearts, not parts, but right now I'm currently with a man. So that's who I've connected with.
And as far as that situation, Tris, I told you this. So, in a relationship, if you want that type of relationship, like you said you were in, that stuff is not something you can force. Like, those are relationships. If you're a man and a woman, y'all have a relationship. You cannot bring another woman in. They have to establish their own, their own community, their own type of bond, their own relationship outside of the
But
man.
see, I've been in situations where I actually found, like, my ex, like, I found him somebody. Like, I thought I was like friends with somebody, and I just thought that this person would be good for, like, our dynamic.
Right, but
I think you should talk to so and so because I think that y'all would mesh well. Come to find out, they really didn't. But it was like, I'm so open to it, and it's not that I'm trying to push my partner on anybody else. It was just like, look, my baby mom said nope, already took family clothes, laugh out loud. But it's like, and she's so not joking. She really mean that. And like, that's my ex-husband. That's his children's mother also. So we have a family. You get what I'm saying? The two of us never slept together, but we still, had a family. Right. You know what I mean? But I'm more so, I'm open to whatever. Like, I done found my husband people. I done said, no, find them on your own, whatever the case may be. But it's like, you really have to be mentally prepared for that, because that I'm like, find the client.
You see that? I'm sorry, Sai, you were saying?
Go ahead, Sai.
Oh, I was just saying, like, you got to be mentally prepared, and you got to communicate. Right. You got to be secure with yourself, because ultimately it's about trust. Like,
you really have to. But see, people get in the habit of thinking that we own each other. We don't own one another. So that's where a lot of problems come from too, because you're not giving people, I tell my husband now, listen, I'm with you because I love who we are together. But I want you to have your own life. I want to have my own life. And when we come together, we have a life together. Because a lot of times in relationships, you get in these relationships and you lose yourself.
Yeah.
You really, even with being a parent, you become a parent and you forget who you are. You forget what you like. You forget what you like to do. So I never want to be in that place again to where I forget my likes and who I am. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't own you. I truly see why people have multiple partners sometimes, because it's just certain things that you get out of other people that you can't get from that one person. I get it. Everybody don't understand it. Everybody may not agree. And I understand that also. But for those who do deal with multiple partners and it's something that's agreed on within them, like, I see why it happens.
Right. And then my thing, like I was saying too, everybody can't be everything somebody's looking for. So if you like really be realistic, would it be easier to accept that? Like, well, I lack in this department, but this female has whatever, versus he's still going to cheat and find it anyways. You know what I'm saying? So why not just be on the same page? That's what I think. But like you said, it's not for everybody. Tricky.
Well, it's for me, honey. It's for me.
Yes.
Okay, good.
So, what I'm going to do really quick, I'm going to open the phone lines and we'll finish chatting, but I just want to open the phone lines. So if you're ready, if you got something you want to share, it can be anything about the topic, just something you want to just speak your piece upon. Feel free to go ahead and call in right now. The lines are open. Call in to 213-87-TABOO, 213-87-TABOO. So while we let that do what it do, we'll proceed and go forward.
Y'all, I'm just trying to figure out Nene Bostic. I just want to review my cousin because I don't
That's
need to
my
learn.
mom. That's my mother.
Oh, a Bostic? That's what I am. I just don't run across a lot of Bostics. I was just wondering.
Oh, we might be related. We'll have to talk after this.
I'm going to share this too. This was just some other little memes I found. It says you might be choosing emotionally unavailable partners because, and this touches on a little bit of what we shared earlier. You're disconnected from your own emotional needs, so you take what you can get. You're obsessing, fantasizing, and romanticizing so much that you miss the red flags. You're unconsciously attracted to potential because it means you don't have to fully step into what you actually want because you don't feel worthy of it. That's good.
Slap you in the face.
Childhood messaging and modeling demonstrated relationships that lack reciprocity. Yo, I was in speech classes in some words.
I don't even know how
reciprocity. Yeah, reciprocity. We got that. Demonstration of love languages, healthy problem solving, and communication. So basically, it seemed like none of that was modeled. Oh, we don't have to go through all this. These are too small to read. All right, go ahead and call in, JJ. You told us last week you were going to call in today.
You was going to call in.
Okay,
yes,
so
your spouse or partner is not your property. That is so true.
That's true. And people say it again because people get controlling and like.
Yeah, I can't force you to respect me. That has to be within you. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? And the thing is like, I don't care how many times you call my phone or what you do. If I want to go out here and cheat, I'm going to find a way to go out here and cheat. You're not stopping anything. So it's my respect for you that's stopping me from going out here to do those kind of things.
Hold on 1 second, you guys. We got a call coming in. Talking Taboo. This is Trista. How are you?
Hi, Trista. How are you?
I'm doing well. And yourself?
I am good.
Okay, who am I speaking with?
Talking Taboo. This is Trista. How are you? This is Miss Smith.
Miss Smith? Are y'all able to hear Miss Smith?
Oh, Miss Bostic?
Can y'all hear?
Hi, cousin. How are you?
All right.
I am good.
All right. What would you like to share today?
I just wanted to share on the topic of the toxic relationships just a little bit.
Go right ahead.
So, I never thought that I was in toxic relationships because I was just the type of woman that ain't play that. I can't say the other word.
Right.
So, but growing up, getting a little more insight of who I am through my daughter, I began to treat men any kind of way because I was tired of being treated that way when I would give my all. And I kept saying, how am I keep giving my all? And they saying that I'm the woman that they want. I'm a good woman. I'm everything that they needed, but then they would go and cheat. So till finally I started turning the table. And I know that when you start turning the tables, they don't like that.
Right.
They more so don't like it when you turn the tables without violence.
Right.
When you walk away, it flips them out. When you don't give that feedback, it flips them out. So as I got a little bit older, I also realized that sometimes I was the toxic person and didn't know it.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that I was a toxic person. So my kids, like I taught them a lot, but they were also, I love them to the death of me because they are so real. And that's not just with Deanna, that's with all four of my children. I love them because they keep it funky with me, even when I am wrong.
Right.
And Deanna, she'd be like, Mom, she'd be like, I'm telling you right now, you need to cut the bull crap. Oh, she don't sugarcoat it with y'all, but she don't, you know what I mean? If she don't sugarcoat it with y'all, she don't sugarcoat it with me either.
That's good.
And I love her for that. And she would tell me, Mom, you gotta stop thinking that it's, you know, that you the boss all the time. But see, that's what I was used to. I was being the boss. I was so used to being the boss in my relationship, the man in the woman. Let me say that. I was so used to being the man in the woman in my relationships that when something good did come my way, I didn't know how to handle it. Yeah. Because I was so high up on the male level. And I'm grateful, and not to put her on a pedestal, but I am so grateful where Allah has brought my daughter and I to these points where I can take her criticism. Sometimes I want to hear it. Yeah. I'll be like, all right, bye. See you later. But that's not just from her, that's with all of my children. I have 3 girls and a son. And when I am wrong, I am wrong. But I am thankful for her because she has gotten me along, you know, with the Creator to grow. Yeah. And also my mother, like I have a family who we are about family. And when I say that, we are definitely about family. Yeah. We don't care, you know what I mean? Even with, you know, her situation, when he needed to get away and needed to start a new life, we did. Even though he did what he did to her, like, we still had that compassion and that godly love that we still made sure that he was A-okay through it all. Yeah. We didn't turn our backs on neither one of them because we realized this is somebody that she loved. Right. That she truly loved. We felt like, you know, if this is person and we feel like we can help him or whatever the case may be, we're going to do just that until it gets to that limit. Right, right. And when it gets to that limit, then you got to learn to let it all go. That's true. But he has gotten me, her and my family has gotten me to the point now to where I am married to a wonderful man, that something I never expected. That treats me. And it's unbelievable because I was like, is this real? I keep saying, is this real? But because of her guidance and my family's guidance, it helped me see myself. Because like I said, I didn't realize it, but I was the toxic one at a lot of times. And didn't realize it. Yeah. That's very good. I do appreciate you sharing that. That was very good. I appreciate that. Absolutely, baby. And you guys continue to be blessed. I love y'all, and I will continue to support you. All right. Thank you so much.
Thanks for calling in.
All right. You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
JJ, I love that girl.
Someone was calling in from New Jersey. I think it was 65. Hold on one second. Someone else was calling in from an 856 number from New Jersey. So if you would like to call back, or I could call you back. Hold on one second. Because we want you to be able to share your thoughts as well.
Please leave your message.
Oh, they're calling right now.
I love how your mom speaks about you. I know it took some time for y'all to get where y'all are.
It took a lot of work. But I mean,
how may I help you? I'm sorry. I'm acting like I'm answering my telephone. Talking taboo, Trista. Who am I speaking with? Hello? Hold on one second, y'all. I'm acting like an old lady. Okay, hold on. Here we go. Talking taboo, Trista. Who am I speaking with? Hello? Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
How are you?
Fine, yourself?
I'm doing well. Who am I speaking with?
Robbie.
Hey, Robbie. What would you like to share with us today?
I was just coming up there to let my wife know I love her.
All right.
That's so fun.
Robbie, we thank you for that. Wifey's over here blushing. Thank you so much for showing that love.
You already.
All right. Thank you.
Y'all got a good topic going on, though.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm in tune.
Okay. We appreciate that support. Thank you for checking us out.
You're welcome.
All right. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Girl, you be coming through with your support.
Okay.
Look, I don't be trying to break too many people here because I don't be trying to have no arguments at the end. Y'all catch me.
But you know what? The great part about it,
everybody out.
I think the great part about it all is that any of my family that gets on here, they know how I am, and they can vouch for me and saying like she ain't lying to y'all. Mm-hmm. Like even it's crazy. See, he is my best friend, y'all. When I tell y'all that is my boo, but it's just like the love and support because they see me at my worst. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? So to be in a good place and they get to support me doing this good place, that means a lot to me. So to all my family and friends and everybody that's on here, I love y'all and thank you for tuning in and calling in and all that great stuff.
Yeah, thank you all for tuning in. We do appreciate it. I'm going to close the phone line and let me do that really quick. All right, got the phone lines closed here. And I really appreciate this topic, y'all, today and conversation with you all. Thank you all for always, coming through and being here every week. I really appreciate that.
Because it'd be a whole struggle sometimes.
Listen, I was actually taking a nap in house, and that's why I missed your call. I was actually taking a nap, and I was like, Lord, I don't feel like getting up. Maybe we should. I was struggling.
Oh, we ain't gonna do that. Honey, I was feeding the last week trying to get home.
Yeah. So I'm gonna, go ahead and go because I know it's Super Bowl. I know y'all probably want to catch a little bit of that. It's 8:30.
Halftime, ain't it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I thank you all for chatting with me today. And of course, I'll see you all next week. And next week, we're going to be talking about toxic religion. So make sure that you tune in for that one. That's going to be a good, tasty one. Okay. Toxic religion next Sunday. Look at House in the face. Toxic religion. Okay.
Y'all have a good week and be safe.
All right.
Oh, and happy V-Day.
And thank you so much to the supporters as well for tuning in and showing love. We do appreciate that. And make sure that you join us every Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can watch us live on Facebook or YouTube at Chainbreakers Talk Show. And I want to leave you with a little something. Remember that activity follows identity. It's time that you stop playing the script you've been given and start becoming the author of your own life. Only you have the power to change your narrative. It's time that you rewrite your story. Until next time,